Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another magic maker project for hobby hoppers. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steph Williams. I'm a paper crafter and card maker from Queensland, Australia, and I've been working on some Christmas and July projects all month. This project is the one I'm going to show you how I made today. As always, to get started, I'm going to show you all of the products that I used. First off is the platform pop-up die, and I'm going to use some white cardstock with that. Then I'm just going to flick through a bunch of stamp sets and point out which stamps I thought I would use in this card. I actually did end up using most of it. Only the Crazy Antics and the alphabet aren't currently available in the Hobby Hoppers shop, but I will be linking alternatives down below so that you can still create this card as close as possible with what is available right now in the online store. First up, I'm going to be inking my platform, and that's because this is going to need a little bit of time to dry. It is a fair amount of ink. And as you may see at one point, I do bend a bit by accident as it is getting a bit damp. For this background, I'm using the Abandoned Coral, which was the first colour I chose. I thought it's a really nice red, but it's almost got kind of like a chalky texture. These are Distress Oxide inks, and I feel like it's not dull, but it's just not quite as vibrant as the Candied Apple that I use around the edges. Now, I haven't made a platform pop-up card in a while, and I really was just guessing where to put the ink and where it would show when it's folded and not folded. It was a bit of fun, and in the end I do have some white spaces showing when the card is folded, but I don't think that looks too bad. I'm also using this background piece as well. My original plan for this card did not have this, but it worked out perfectly in the end. Just before I set these aside to dry, I am going to add some sparkly gold flecks over these. I did consider using some red, but I always worry when I use red flecks on things, it starts to look more like a Halloween card than a Christmas card. Once these have had a little time to dry, I'm then going to stamp my background, and I was a little bummed that I have not yet purchased the Henry Jr. ABCs, I think that's what it's called. It is my favourite die set, and I really want to get the stamps to match. I feel like that would be a really cute font for a Christmas card, but instead I've gone with my Milo's, which is a much older stamp set, and I came up with the ridiculous pun, Merry Crittermas. I don't think I really came up with it. It probably exists somewhere else, but it was the closest and shortest sentiment I could think of to make with an alphabet stamp set. If you've ever made a long sentiment with these stamps, you know that it is very tricky. Lining them up is incredibly tedious, and if I was smarter, I probably would have stamped it a few more times. Next up is assembling my platform pop-up, and honestly I was able to do this without watching any of my old videos or even having to go back and look at the lawn fawn videos. I have made a few of these in the past, but honestly it was just so simple and very straightforward, and it all came together very quickly. Next up, we're going to start stamping all of these critters, and I went a little bit bananas, as I do. Would it really be one of my cards if I didn't use almost every stamp set in my collection? So as you can see, these Simply Celebrate Critters, this is the new set. I think it's Simply Celebrate More Critters, and I chose the little bugs. There was just something about them that I loved. If you watch my unboxing, I'm really keen to use that little ant with his little arms out. He's so cute. And that little worm just reminds me of, I think his name was Smiley from Sesame Street. I'm not sure if that's the right name, but Oscar the Grouch's little worm friend. That's exactly who this little creature reminds me of, and it's just so cute. So I've got my bugs. I've got bugs from a bunch of stamp sets, not just the Crazy Antics one. And while I went with the Crazy Antics, one of the recent Halloween sets with the bats, that has a couple of moths and spiders that would actually be really cute for this too. I did consider using some of them, but I kind of ran out of space and things for them to do on this card. My colouring today is going to be as simple as it always is, maybe even a little simpler because these little critters are so tiny. I only use two colours, a light one and a dark one in the same Copic family. I go in with the lighter do some shadows with the darker one, and then simply blend them together. I really love this little bee. I'll zoom, there we go, I will show him. He's just so cute, and the way I coloured him and made it look like he had a little t-shirt on with his belly hanging out. It's a bit silly, but he's just so cute. I think it's a bee, it looks like a bee. That's the way I coloured him. I also really love this little moth and his little hands. Oh, they're just so cute. And I've seen a lot of people do this with this stamp set, and I think it just makes it all the more versatile that you can snip them apart and use them behind anything. So you'll see today I've got like the little moth poking out from behind the tree. I've got the little ant popping out of the honey pot. I've got the little ladybug peeking over the side of the house. And this is just the bugs. You can do it with all of the sets. So of course you know how excited I am about the mice from the previous set because I can use them in a variety of ways. And while I'm colouring in, now is the perfect time to talk about Hobby Hoppers. So if you are unfamiliar with the brand, Hobby Hoppers is a Melbourne-based business run solely by Trish. It is an online shop full of amazing crafty supplies. My favourite, obviously, will always be the lawn fawn, but this is also where I grab my watercolour pigments, my jelly roll pens, foam tapes, washi tapes, and a whole range of other things. While I am definitely the one to focus on the stamping, Trish also has another magic maker for hobby hoppers, Desley Jane. I'll make sure I link her below, and she is much better at showing off the other products that Hobby Hoppers has to offer. Also in the description box for this video, you will find the links to everything that I'm using today, and of course the link to the Hobby Hoppers store. I hope you'll check it out. It is one of my favourite places to shop. And while I finish off this colouring and adding my white highlights, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of music. Now that all my images have been cut out, I'm just going to assemble them in small groups so that it makes the whole assembly process in the pop-up card just a little bit easier. You know how I like to do that thing and I just can't seem to help myself, and I do it more frequently than is acceptable? I'm going to stamp directly onto my already made card base, risking everything with this cute little bunch of mistletoe. I think I'm very lucky that it turned out perfectly, and I'm going to pop 2 little ants underneath. While I took the stamped hat from the little tiny Santa, it was actually still way too big for my little critters. So what I'm doing here is using a black pen to redraw the line. I then trim it a little bit off that line, and then I'm using my white Jelly Roll pens to cover up any excess colour. They still look a bit big and silly on these little critters, but I think they kind of look a little bit cute. And here's my little ant. I had to do the unthinkable, chopping off those little antennas, but I think you'll agree that he is very, very cute. And now this is my absolute favourite part, of course, of these pop-up cards, and that is assembling all the little images along the tabs that display this scene. I wasn't sure where to put that bee, but I found a cute home for him in the end. And I just absolutely love this little scene I made with this Christmas tree with the little moth and ants. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. They're just so cute. Especially having some of those ornaments that are small enough for the ants to hold. I just think that's a really cute little bit. To tidy up this scene, I'm just going to add a present under that little worm's plate, and then I'm going to trim off the excess parts of these tabs. It doesn't make a major difference, but I feel like it does just tidy up everything a little bit. And here we go! Let's pop it up and check it out. My second Christmas project for Hobby Hoppers this month, this is the Merry Crittermas card. I hope you love it as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope that you'll check out Hobby Hoppers. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.